So what's up, folks? As it goes, we are reacting again to this. Oh, let me mute this. My bad. I'm watching Florida get drilled by South Carolina unexpectedly. But yeah, so we just witnessed a game that really should have been a blowout, but was not necessarily a blowout. This should have been more of a 45-17 victory rather than 29-17. But a win is a win. Again, good teams find ways to win games like this, and FAMU's a good team. I, I felt like we would have gotten more of an offensive explosion, but FAMU's defense is elite. FAMU's offense is what it is at this point, honestly. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. So, I mean, you know, yeah, but we're gonna talk about these stats and everything. So y'all don't go anywhere. Intros next. It's gonna be a fun one. All right, awesome. So, yeah, and also too, yeah, make sure feel free to leave a comment. Honestly, I know YouTube's not working right now, but most definitely leave a comment, or not YouTube. Twitter's not working right now in the comment section, so head over to YouTube if you want to leave a comment. But other than that, make sure you like, share, and subscribe as well. But yeah, let's get right into it. So honestly, the one thing I'm going to start off with saying is, dude, red zone offensive efficiency has to be addressed. If not in these last two games, it definitely needs to be something that's addressed here, like in the off season, because it makes no sense that you have, oh my God, what, 10 tries down in the red zone, and on your 10th try, you get in the end zone. It makes no sense. Oh, we got 3 comments already. Did the defense's turnover streak get snapped? Oh my goodness, you're right. It did. Yes, it did. I feel like it got snapped last week. Oh my goodness. We were so excited for homecoming that we didn't even realize FAMU's like defensive like turnover streak got snapped. Oh my goodness. You're right. That's crazy. Like that's actually pretty wild. We were so excited for homecoming and to actually like just be at the event that like we just forgot about the turnover streak being snapped. But I'm with you though. Yeah, a lot left on the board. It was because I will say this. I felt like most of those field goals should have been touchdowns. And then at the end, like I really think this game should have ended like 36-17. I really think that this game, like it would have made me feel a little bit better about how this ended. But it's oh yeah, dude. Oh, definitely. Because I mean, like honestly, I was expecting more of a dogfight out of Southern, but you can just see, and this is the beauty. This is the beauty of it, and this is where. Oh yeah, And this is where I feel confident about the future going forward versus a lot of these teams. If you notice when you see teams like Alabama A&M and Southern, the route running, and then you see wide receivers dropping open passes and stuff, and you see wide receivers dropping like these acrobatic catches and stuff, whereas you see FAMU's wide receivers making these catches and everything. That's a testament to mental toughness and who's in shape and who's not in shape. Who's able to give that little extra when when stuff gets tough. Who's able to do that, who's not. You're seeing that out of FAMU despite all the inconsistencies. You see that because there are instances where I felt like Southern could have just easily pulled within 5 or pulled within 1 or even took the lead at some point, but their wide receivers just can't make the easy catches. Just a simple drag route coming across or just making a simple sideline catch, they can't do it. And that's what separates FAMU from the rest of these schools as far as winning these close games. And it is so obvious more now than ever, like late in the season, because I kind of figured I was like, well, maybe it's just one team that has that problem, or maybe it's just this team that has that problem, but it's all of them. Because you notice you see Chad Hunter and Xavier Smith making these catches in tight windows, but wide receivers on other teams can't do that. They just can't, and it is very very like it's a glaring thing. Honestly, I mean, if you haven't noticed it, I mean, honestly, go back and go watch some of these games. Like it is so obvious and it's so glaring. And that's one thing that people don't want to point out to won't point out to you. But I've noticed it, honestly. But the other thing too is I don't know if anybody else saw it, but did anybody else see the Marching 100 and like the fan base on FAMU sideline like saying nah 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 hey 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 goodbye? Like that was pretty funny, I thought. Like I couldn't see it, but I heard it. But looking at McKay's stats too, not a bad night, honestly. I mean, it wasn't all on him. No turnovers in this game. 15 of 24, 231 yards, two touchdown passes. And honestly, I can honestly say this. I think that we found his bread and butter pass that works for him. Usually a lot of like when you have quarterbacks, a lot of guys can say that, this is my favorite route for my wide receivers to run, or this is my favorite. Oh yeah. Yeah, he did. He did. I think honestly, it's just the red zone efficiency is what's killing this team right now. Because there were I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna talk about it. But yeah, he played relatively well. Like he did good enough to win the game by more than what they won the game by. But the post corner routes, yeah. Oh yeah, like those are his bread and butter. Those post corner routes are that's his thing. That and I'm glad that we're finally really seeing it. And honestly, there's some instances where like even I'll even throw in the wheel route too. Because the wheel route early in the game to Jamar Shareed, that was wide open. If those 2 routes honestly continue to pop open, and if he can get even more precise and hit Chad Hunter or Xavier Smith or any of these wide receivers on that post corner with room to spare to stay in bounds and not go out of bounds and like kill the clock, that can go for 6. 2 games left. He's gaining confidence with that, especially on his deep ball. That's good because honestly, not many quarterbacks can throw out routes of any kind, honestly. The hardest routes to throw are honestly just simple out routes, post corners. Anything that's going outward is for some reason tougher, honestly. So I mean, for as much criticism as we give him, he's able to make one of the toughest throws. So I got to give it to him. Also, too, Bishop Bonnet. 16 carries, 101 yard or no, 106 yards, no touchdowns tonight. Jalen McLeod had the lone rushing TD tonight. And honestly, I gotta give it to Bishop Bonnet too. He's driving closer to 1,000-yard season as I calculate this out right now. Bishop Bonnet only needs 221 yards over the next 2 games to have a 1,000-yard season. It's highly attainable. It is highly attainable. And I think he will get it. I don't know what shape the Arkansas Pine Bluff or even Bethune-Cookman's rushing defenses are in, but it is possible that he could have 1,000 yards by the end of the season. Especially, heck, if he just goes crazy these last 2 weeks. And honestly, hopefully his knee's okay. But if Coach Simmons just cuts him loose these last 2 weeks and lets him just go crazy, he could have a 1,000-yard season. I don't think he gets 200 in a game, but honestly, you want to. If I'm him, I want to get most of it next week. That way, by season's end, it's a cakewalk. And if they get in the if they get in the FCS playoffs, he'll definitely have a 1,000-yard season. That's a one. That's a 1 p.m. You mean like a 1 o'clock p.m.? Oh, yeah, honestly, I hope they don't. Oh, 10 and a half hour. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if they did bust there. That's a long, long ride, unfortunately. But I feel like they may have to bust there because honestly, I think when they played Arkansas, when they played the Razorbacks and they traveled to War Memorial Stadium, they bust for that too. I think so. I mean, while it is fun to see the countryside, it's a painful ride, honestly. So I hope they don't make the bus ride, but it wouldn't surprise me if it is a bus ride because I think they bust to Baton Rouge tonight. Pilgrimage. Oh man. Oh my goodness. I don't know why. I thought of Little House on the Prairie and stuff for some reason when you said that, but let me stop. Let me stop. Also too, I gotta give it to Jamari Sharit. I could fly to Ghana fat. Oh my gosh. Y'all. It's true. You probably could, honestly. Actually, no, before I talk about the wide receivers and what they did tonight, honestly, I gotta talk about this red zone efficiency. That I don't understand why it was so hard to just punch it in, like right there on like the 3 yard line or even the 1 yard line. I know some of y'all may not like him, but have we not seen Tom Brady's career over 20 years and seen his ability to just go under center in these like short yardage situations, keep it himself, put his body weight behind his center and his lineman and drive forward and get it. Like that's all it takes sometimes. And it is I don't get it. Like what because I'm wondering, and I know a lot of you all are wondering, why line up in shotgun and under center and that's your answer. Wait, that's the answer, America. And quite honestly, I was talking with him actually before or during the game about this. The middle's been wide open the past 2 football seasons to just run it and get like 5 or 6 yards and slide and regroup and get it all back. And I think I've seen McKay run. I can count on one hand how many times I've seen McKay run this season. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, and I'm just wondering like why not run it more? Because I mean, for one, you can protect yourself. He's got the speed to do it. And if he were did say, honestly, I thought he got in. I thought he got in from my point of view, just by sitting here looking at it. Because I figured he reached his arm over. He did not fumble. Yes. He reached his arm over. He didn't fumble. once his arm hits the ground, the ball pops out, but he's on like his arm or his hand is on the white line on that goal line, which counts as a touchdown because the ball is in his hand. It's just, the fact that his hand bounces off the ground is what knocks the ball loose. But he's definitely in. So I mean, this this should have been this should have been like a 36-17 victory. It should have been. But I think the lesson learned tonight is just simply put, go under center and just keep it and go in yourself. Or option B, you can run a play action bootleg. You've got two tight ends that can get the job done on the goal line that can win a one-on-one bet. Really, heck, three. You got Jeremiah Pruitt, who has yet to really score a touchdown or get involved this season. You have Nick Dixon, and you got Kamara Young, who actually scored a touchdown tonight, by the way. You got three guys that could get the job done in that situation. So, I mean, look, there's so many elements to how you could work this out. And you could put Cameron Sapp in and still have the running threat too, if you to go along with a play action pass. So something's got to change as far as the red zone efficiency in the offseason, or just honestly here in the next 2 weeks. Because it doesn't take you're burning a lot more energy and time lining up back here, just going shotgun like this. This is taking up a lot of energy versus and a lot of everybody else's energy versus just simply just doing this, going under center and just working it in. And honestly, we're past where it's illegal to push people into the end zone now. So you got help behind you. You could line up in an I formation, and you got two running backs that are power backs that could push you in and get the touchdown. So I mean, it's not illegal to push. At the time when Reggie Bush did it, it was illegal, but now it's legal. So it's really just it's that simple. But yeah, so FAMU's wide receivers. Jamari Shareed, 5 receptions, 86 yards, 1 touchdown. Xavier Smith, 4 receptions, 77 yards. I thought he could have had a 100-yard night. I thought either guy could have had 100 yards tonight if they'd have kept really just opening it up. Also, too, Kamara Young, kudos to him, the 1 reception, 13 yards, lone TD. All totaled, FAMU had 231 yards tonight of receiving yards. And I guess that kind of attributes to McKay's 231 yards passing. But, yeah. Defensively, you held Southern to just under 100 yards rushing. Talked about it earlier. Defense needs to travel. Defense traveled tonight. You shut out Southern in the second half. Kudos. The downside to it is, offensively, you only scored 9 points in the second half. That's got to change, especially down the home stretch. We can't just be I've not known FAMU to be a first half team where they just score touchdowns in the first half and not in the second half. So something's got to change there. Also, too, you held Southern's wide receivers to less than 200 yards. Kudos there. I think their leading receiver had 5 receptions, 74 yards. Everyone else had less than 60 yards, less than 55 yards, honestly. As a team, FAMU had 381 yards. It could have been a 400-yard night. Southern had 273 yards. Honestly, both teams, not what you'd expect in third down efficiency. So it could have been better there. As well, too, the penalties. Better game as far as penalties go. More disciplined play tonight. 4 penalties for 30 yards. That's what you want. That's what you want to see out of FAMU. That was probably the best as far as disciplinary as we've seen this team all season long. So kudos to them. No turnovers at all. No fumbles, although the referees tried to initially rule a bunch of fumbles, but No fumbles tonight by both sides. You want to learn about ball security? This is the game that you should have been watching. 19 first downs. Southern had 20. This is about a pretty balanced game. So, I mean, all total, this was pretty good. This was a pretty good game. I think honestly, the result tonight, well with all, you hold off Jackson State from clinching the SWAC. They have to wait another week. Southern, well with all, honestly, your season's over. The Bayou Classic comes. Likely Southern is going to win that because I do think Southern's a better team than Grambling right now. And look, that's their championship right now. So I like where FAMU's at, honestly. And it's just so funny because you had so many people in the offseason saying FAMU would saying 9 wins in the MEAC is not equivalent to 9 wins in the SWAC in your first season. And here we are FAMU sitting pretty with 7-2, a 7-2 record with you're on the home stretch. Hey, honestly, look, it's not likely you're going to capture the SWAC title or the SWAC East title and play for the SWAC championship, but I'm still very impressed. Given the lack of offensive production, I'm still very impressed. The defense has stayed consistent all season long. And with 2 more games to go, it's only going to get better. I hope. Really, the interesting challenge is going to be the fact that you got to go into what some would possibly say, quote unquote, trap game next week against Arkansas Pine Bluff. But I think, honestly, you can't get caught up in what's next week. You have to focus on the task at hand. And if you do that, I think you'll be okay. Because it is that this game is highly winnable. I think, honestly, I think a lot of people expected Arkansas Pine Bluff to be something that they're not. And because, I mean, look, you play football in the fall and not in the spring. So with that being said, and then honestly, see, Pine Bluff is on oh my goodness, that is a very long losing streak. Is that a 5-game? Oh no, okay, so they beat Grambling today, but they ended a very, very long losing skid. So they had lost 7 straight games. They won today, so they're 2-7. So quite honestly, they're going to be coming in off of a serious high. But honestly, too, you got to look at who they played. They played against Coach Fobbs' Grambling team that complains about every little thing. So, yeah, this game is winnable. This game's highly winnable. Just don't get caught up in the emotions of what's to come the week after and everything. Just stay focused on the task at hand. I know this is what always happens around this time of the year. Everyone always starts talking about, what our plans are for the week ahead, and we're going down to Orlando a week or a week earlier and stuff as soon as this game is over and everything. No. Stay focused on the task at hand and what's to come with Pine Bluff. You worry about that. And then honestly, I mean, heck, because it is what's coming next week, 12-hour rule probably turns into maybe an 8-hour rule. And then you're focused on the task at hand for what's to come the next day. So with that, I mean, honestly, shoot, if nobody else has any comments, I think that's all I got for tonight, honestly. So, I mean, yeah, just to recap, I think McKay played a heck of a game tonight. He did a good job when his name was called upon. I like where the defense is at right now. I feel like the offense, red zone efficiency needs to get better. Hopefully we see some type of improvement in these last 2 games. Willie's offensive rhythm has to get better. Especially in the red zone. Yeah, it does. It really does. And that's what I was telling everyone earlier too. Trap game. Some people say it is a trap game. I don't think so. All I'm gonna say is don't get caught up in the emotions of what's to come the week after. Worry about what's in the moment. I expect the W. Oh yeah, definitely. I do too. I do too. But back to this one. It does honestly. I mean, when you sit down and you go over the film the next day, if you go over the film, you just really point out the fact that you know what, just tell them, hey, look, when you line up in that formation on the goal line and it's a short yardage, simply put, look, what does Tom Brady do? Go under center, take it, ride behind your lineman. Yeah, honestly, yeah. I have a hard time saying it could have really been a trap game because Southern is a rival. So I mean, when I see trap game, I think of trap game as a team like Pine Bluff or like Mississippi Valley that has nothing to fight for. But I could kind of see how this could have been a trap game too because it is the week after homecoming. You're still riding a serious high, and then you got to come back down to earth to play this type of game. Yeah, yeah. See, exactly. Like, so I mean that's part of the reason why I have an issue saying that a rival was a trap game. But I could honestly see how this could have been one. But But yeah, back to your point though about the red zone offense getting better. Simply put, you just, you could just stay under center and just keep it and ride it. Look, Tom Brady's got 20 years worth of film showing all of us how that works. So it's not hard to find it. It's really not. Or if you don't feel comfortable keeping it like that, just play action pass it. Either one is very effective. And Southern was ready to bite on the run every time. So somebody, you got three guys that line up at tight end that are capable of making plays. So I mean, someone was gonna pop open, but I don't know. Again, like I said, I don't coach. Maybe they're saving something. So who knows? I don't know. The whole SWAC conference thought we'd fold playing against their teams. We're 1 point away from being undefeated in the. Oh yeah, exactly. That's and see and I find it so funny. So many people said that oh well, FAMU's not that good and stuff. The only team in the conference that beat FAMU had to go get SEC and Division 1 transfers just to beat FAMU, and then they had to load up on more after they had some come in that were eligible to play in the spring season. They had to go above and beyond to just capture a title. So I mean, like, dude, honestly, if that doesn't happen, if it's a lot of stuff that makes you go, what if, like, what if Dion doesn't go to Jackson State? FAMU sitting pretty, getting ready to probably host the SWAC championship. What if FAMU makes it a third field goal in the Orange Blossom Classic? You're getting ready to host a SWAC championship the first weekend of December, the same weekend as the SEC championship and the ACC championship and all these other conference championships. I still want that game back. It was a week one. Yeah, no, you're not the only one that wants that game back. Honestly, a lot of people want that game back. And the beautiful thing about it is, and I'm not sure if there's going to be I'm sure there's going to be an Orange Blossom Classic next year, but I'm not sure if Jackson State's the opponent for that game. I heard they are. Not only week one, but the first game in over 600 days. Yes, exactly. And honestly, like if and the beautiful thing is, and here's what I think: if they had maybe played a game week 0 before getting to that game to kind of see what they had, you know. But yeah, like but I do think first game again. Okay, so they are. So that is the Orange Blossom Classic game. We should have won by way more in the red zone. Too many times, field goals wasn't it? Oh yeah, of course. It's again, like I said, play action, bootleg would have worked. Keeping it just staying under center would have worked. You don't have to go under shotgun so many times. It's okay to go under center in this new age of college football, and I think that's what honestly a lot of teams are getting away from. Because honestly, you look around, like I mean, heck, you look at a conference that's prided on football and the SEC. Hate to compare for those of you that for the people that are for the culture buffs that say don't compare HBC football to SEC football, but I mean, you look at the SEC, you see guys going in shotgun way too much sometimes, and all you need is just a simple go under center and for simple red zone plays. And it's crazy because it and like I said earlier, you're burning so much energy. Everyone's burning so much energy when you're just going from shotgun. Sounds like Bruce Arians when he says no risk it, no biscuit. That's really what it sounds like. See, look, Shotgun Willie needs to realize that, hey, it's okay to pull out the pistol sometimes. Well, not necessarily. Well, you know what? I shouldn't say pull out the pistol. It's okay to go under center sometimes and just win the game like that. Because sometimes you need it. You don't always need to go shotgun. But I mean, it's a new age of college football. It really is. It really is. And that had to probably be the most irritating part of the whole night, is realizing that you could score 40 points on this team in their house and take them out of the game. But for some odd reason, you couldn't get out of your own way. It's like you have two left feet. But again, good teams find ways to win games like this. And FAMU's a good team. But my only complaint is this. I would like to see more scoring in the second half. No more field goals. No more just settling for getting safeties and stuff. You need touchdowns in the second half, especially for these last two games. You want to see some sort of progress from next week to the week before Thanksgiving, in my opinion. That's what I would like to see. So, I mean, if there's ever any one complaint I would like to see, yeah, it really is. And that's where I give kudos to especially Jose Romero Martinez, the kicker, because you've had him come in a tough spot after the third game or during the third game of the season, and you're asking him to punt, you're asking him to do kickoffs, and you're asking him to kick field goals. Like that's a lot on one person's leg. It really is. And the fact that he's been able to do it so consistently well this whole season is just amazing. You got to give credit where credit's due. As shaky as special teams was tonight, special teams was a key catalyst in this victory. So I will say that. So with that being said, honestly, yeah, make sure y'all tune into the Running Gun podcast Wednesday night. I know The Last Give had their season finale on Tuesday night, but yeah, make sure y'all tune into that. It's going to be interesting. It'll be live from Cancun, Mexico, actually. So it'll be a special episode. Hopefully, well, we'll have to get it started 7 o'clock. Actually, no, time changes tomorrow. So it'll be 9 o'clock. It'll be 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock regular time. So no worries there. It's all good. So make sure y'all are tuned into that and watching that. It's finishing drives. Yeah. Yeah, you have to finish drives. If you've learned to finish drives, the amount of points this team can score is unreal, especially with a guy that's a game manager that's still learning his way at the QB position. And honestly, McKay's come a long way. Because what he's got 14 touchdown passes on the season now, 14 touchdown passes, 4 interceptions. That's a great QB ratio for touchdowns and interceptions. You finish drive, Lord and heck, he really probably should have had like 4 or 5 touchdown passes tonight instead of field goals. So I mean, it really is finishing drives in the red zone. It really is. But hopefully we see more consistency next week. If not next week, then I think it'll be it will I'll be able to say it's obvious. I think they're saving something for the end of the season. Because I mean, honestly, if we see no change between this week and next week as far as like red zone efficiency and finishing drives, then honestly, to hell with it. I'm just gonna say this for the last one: throw the whole house at them at the end of the season if you're still not able to finish drives next week. So that's what I would do. I said the same thing. Yeah, and a lot of us were, and it comes. I think it came with the confidence because I mean, if you look at this team's confidence on offense, especially in week 1 and week 2, and then come back and look at it now, it is night and day. Because I think the lights slowly came on once they kind of got their confidence back. And once McKay got comfortable, I think like the whole offense sort of got comfortable and was like, okay, I think we can kind of open it up a little bit more. And then the one that really did it was the Alabama A&M game because then they realized they had to fight their way out of a hole. So I mean, I'm kind of impressed with the offense. You're averaging 25 points a game, but can't complain. You got a defense that's going to hold teams to less than that on average. But folks, that is it for me for tonight because it is 11 o'clock and believe it or not, I am honestly probably up past my bedtime. Yes, because I'm a grad student and I sleep honestly so much. But I hope y'all have enjoyed this. We're definitely, Running On Podcast is back next week on Wednesday, live from Cancun. FAMU versus Arkansas Pine Bluff breakdown. I'm not sure what day that will be because of the fact that I will be in Cancun. But make sure you're tuned in and watching. Enjoy. Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure. It is a pleasure. Make sure y'all are tuned in Wednesday night. Yeah, and then we'll definitely be back doing this again next week after the Arkansas Pine Bluff game and before. So we appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And as always, too, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe on YouTube and all these other platforms and everything. Instagram's at Throw Flags, in case y'all didn't know. For those of you, if you are interested in Instagram, if you got Facebook, make sure you like us on there. If you got Twitter, of course, we're active on Twitter. And then thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed. So your final for tonight is FAMU 29, Southern 17. So, as always, stay safe, stay blessed. We'll see you next week.